told me that right at the moment we are missing Damien and Mario. Okay, we are going to continue with food science for a few more weeks. And today, in addition to discussing a little bit of the history of where food science came from and a lot of the regulations about food came from, I'm going to do a demonstration for you of making ice cream in a plastic bag. And
Miss Pickholtz?
It's very simple, and they're attached to the lesson resources on Jupiter is the recipe for it, but it's really, really simple. So before I do that demonstration, I'll go through I'll show you all the materials involved, all the ingredients involved. But right now I'm going to find that video so we can watch that and then get on to what will be my breakfast. It's something that the ice cream is something you will very easily be able to make at home. Because I have 6 classes today, I think, maybe it's 5. I will be doing this multiple times, so I'm going to eat a lot of ice cream today, probably more ice cream than anything else this morning. So anyway, let me just see if I can find our video.
Miss Pickholtz,
okay,
I have a question.
And can bring it up. I just need to figure out how to share that screen with you. Share my screen. All right. Did something just change there? Wave your hand in the air if something just changed there for you guys.
Miss Pickholtz?
Not yet. Okay. Here we go.
Miss Pickholtz, before we start, I have a question.
All right. Something changed. Dimitri, you're waving your hand. Are you telling me that something changed? Okay. Make sure that your sound up is up on your device. This is not a long video. I'll stop it a couple times, but it's, I think, only something like 6-something minutes. So anyway, and the questions that will be on your homework assignment will be from this video, and you will have a link to the video so that you can watch it again at home before you do the questions. Alrighty.
The hot and hearty meal.
Okay, so now I can't hear it.
Dimitri, your hand is up. I'm going to unmute you.
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear. The rest of you, give me a thumbs up if you can hear. You can't. Sheepers, but you can see it. Correct?
I can't hear it.
All right.
Can you unmute me?
This is something I had not expected. Wait a moment. Let me see if I can get some kind of a muted. Okay. I can hear my phone vibrating, which might mean that someone has an answer for me. Mrs. Pridgeon can fix my sound, she says. Okay.
Okay, so if you stop your screen share, I'll tell you exactly how to fix it.
Okay,
We can do it right now.
How do I stop my screen share at the moment?
Just go look at the bottom and hit stop screen share, or it should be at the top. Or I think I can do it. Hang on. I think
YouTube went to full screen, so maybe I need to make.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Just bear with us. We'll fix this. It's pretty easy to fix. So when you hit screen share, if you look very closely at the bottom of your screen, I have to give it back to you for you to do this.
Okay.
To the bottom left, you'll see a little button that says share computer sound. And I literally just figured that out, 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
Okay, so try it again.
Okay, so
I'm going to give it back to you.
Okay.
Hang on, boys and girls. We'll be right there.
Okay, so Miss Pridgeon and Miss Pickholtz are getting their thing ready and stopping their screen share.
Okay. Share screen.
Miss Pickholtz.
Wow, here we go.
There you go. Just that little button. Little simple trick, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay.
You're very welcome.
Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay. Here we go.
Is that way.
Better, guys?
100 years
Yeah.
ago, most of this food
Make
didn't
your thumbs up
exist.
if you can hear.
And without the technology to preserve food, most of it would have spoiled before it even got to the store shelf. Given the variety of foods and packages we have now, can you imagine that in the early 1800s, it took about 14 years to develop the basic method used in canning? Nicolas Appert invented canning back in 1809, still about 100 years before Louis Pasteur figured out that heat killed bacteria, the process known as pasteurization. Technology has done a lot in providing us with the food supply we have today. And food scientists around the world make it happen. As society and technology change, so do the regulations that govern the food supply in the United States. At the turn of the 20th century, the industrial age was in full swing, and the mass production of food was a growing enterprise. But many factories that processed and packaged foods were often filthy and unsanitary. In 1906, the writer Upton Sinclair published The Jungle, a novel about the American meatpacking industry. Sinclair's novel follows the story of a young immigrant working at a meatpacking plant in squalid conditions. It is based on Sinclair's own experiences when he spent 7 weeks investigating Chicago's meatpacking plants. While his main target was the industry's appalling labor conditions, people were most outraged by the filth and contamination in American food that his novel exposed. Although the U.S. Department of Agriculture had been established in 1862, on its publication, The Jungle caused such an enormous uproar that Congress passed legislation that included the Meat Inspection Act and the Food and Drugs Act of 1906.
Okay, guys, the Food and Drug Act. You probably have all heard of the FDA, Food and Drug Administration. That's where they came from, and that is why the FDA sometimes seems more involved in food than we would generally think from their name, because when we very often we end up thinking about medicine when we think of the FDA, but they're very much involved in food the food production process as well. Turn this back on.
And the United States Department of Agriculture inspectors were put in every meat plant in the country, where they remain today. Many historians and scientists consider this legislation the beginning of laws that ensure the safety of our present food supply. This also led to the establishment of what we now know as the Food and Drug Administration. The FDA, along with USDA and several other government agencies, is responsible for protecting the public health by assuring the safety of the nation's human and animal food supply and a range of human and veterinary drugs. Over the decades, the growing demands for food hygiene, safety, and innovation have presented food scientists with new and exciting challenges. When television became common in American households in the 1950s, food scientists helped develop the technology for the famous TV dinner. TV dinners were developed after the food processing company, C.A. Swanson & Sons, encountered a storage problem following Thanksgiving one year. With too much turkey and not enough storage space, the company packed the meat in small portions and transported it in refrigerated trains across the United States. They packaged the food in compartmentalized aluminum trays, just like airline meals. The dinners were marketed to tie in with the nation's latest craze, television. Families could eat their segmented trays of turkey, potato, and buttered peas in front of their television sets. The company had a huge hit, and they sold millions of TV dinners to families who found them very convenient. Other technological advances have brought different challenges to food science. Astronauts eat food aboard the space shuttle that food scientists, dietitians, and engineers help research and develop. They work out the best way to process, preserve, and package different types of food while keeping it as nutritious, varied, and tasty as possible. And how do you handle crumbs in zero gravity? The relationship between food and health has always been strong, so food fortification has become big business. Take a look at your breakfast table. The orange juice, cereal, and milk most likely contain a wide variety of added vitamins and minerals intended to increase their nutritional value. Many foods are fortified or enriched with vitamins and minerals that replace nutrients lost or degraded during production. While we have an abundant food supply in the U.S., other parts of the world have fewer food choices, which can limit their intake of important nutrients and create serious health consequences. For example, vitamin A deficiency often leads to blindness in children. Advances in plant biotechnology have helped rice and other staple foods to contain sufficient amounts of vitamin A to prevent debilitating conditions. And food scientists are the brains behind it all. This discipline uses engineering, biological, and physical sciences to study the nature of food, the causes of its deterioration, the principles of food processing, and the improvement of foods for public consumption. Food technology involves the application of food science to the selection, preservation, processing, packaging, distribution, and use of safe, nutritious, and wholesome food. It can take a lot of effort to get food to your table. These oranges are picked in Florida, shipped to a processing plant, pressed, packaged, and shipped to the stores as orange juice. The whole process takes more than just creativity or a healthy appetite. It takes science.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to try to get you guys back here. Stop sharing my screen.
That was a really long video.
Okay. All right. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my computer around so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to unmute you. Now, I want you to remember we're in class, and let's stay focused with what I'm doing. And although I won't be watching the screen all the time, so I won't necessarily see who has hit the raised hand thing. If you, what I'll do is when I reach a stopping point along the way, I'll ask if anyone has a question and then ask you to kind of wave your hand in the air. So let's see. I'll turn around my computer. You'll see the other side of my kitchen.
Oh, wow. Salt.
Get you unmuted. Controls. Manage my participants. That might be a place to start. And let me see. I know I can unmute you. No, I can't unmute. Yes. I'm going to unmute you one at a time. It takes a little bit more time, but that's what I'm finding.
Take your time.
Okay. How come I can't unmute Stephanie? Here we go. Unmute Zachary. Mr. Tristan. Hi, Tristan.
Hi, so my recording is only a test.
Okay, Tristan, just don't talk right. If you give me a moment
If this
if
this isn't a recording, this is only a test. To upload on YouTube, and it's only a test.
I'm already unmuted. I believe that's Ryan. No, that's Sean. Hi, Sean. There's Jack.
I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
Oh, I'm going to mute Miss Lucia. Okay. Harold, unmute you.
Ms. Pickholtz, I went ahead and I just unmuted everybody to save some time.
Thank you. Because I'm not.
What I'll do is, as you're doing this, if it gets loud, I'll take care of the muting.
Okay, thank you. All right, guys.
Miss
So
Pickholtz?
what we're going to do is make ice cream in a plastic Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Now this
Ice cream.
Okay, guys, I've just muted you all again because there's a lot of background noise. So I'm going to slowly unmute you guys if you have comments, okay? Because there's too much noise in the background.
This is your typical. Can you guys see me?
Ms. Pickholtz,
Yeah.
could you move your screen?
Okay.
Move it
This way?
I think that'll work. Try that.
Okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah?
Yeah, but I would move the screen a little bit closer to the table. Just shift it like a little bit closer to the table. Like, we can't see the table. We can see your head, but we can't.
Okay.
Maybe just pull the screen down a little bit. Like, pull the screen towards you a little bit. I think that'll do it. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Basically, what we're going to do is use two Ziploc plastic bags for this. And the Ziploc part is important because when you close a Ziploc sandwich bag, it's pretty tight if you make sure you close it all the way. Okay. You can make these little sandwich bags, believe it or not, will hold 2 cups of liquid. The bigger bag, which is a gallon size, is used to, once we have put our ingredients in here, we put ice and salt in the big bag, and the ice and salt together have what happens when you put salt in with ice is it makes the ice melt, but it lowers the freezing point of the ice. So water generally freezes, I think it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. When I did this yesterday, the ice started at, it was about that temperature. But once I had put the salt in and was starting the process of shaking everything around, the temperature went down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit in the bag. So it can be pretty complicated. I've tried over and over again to find a really simple explanation for why that happens. And we can talk about it more later because it would take too much time right now. But because that happens, you can freeze ice cream in a bag, the same way people use the crank ice cream machines. It's the same concept. Okay. So anyway, I made a point to do this yesterday when I practiced with whole milk, not non-fat or skim. It would work, but it wouldn't be as good. I used whole milk yesterday. Today I'm going to use cream, a light cream. You could also use half and half, or you could mix the amount of milk and cream if you wanted to want to experiment with it. That, a little bit of sugar, a tiny bit of vanilla, and then basically once it's done, you can add any mix-ins that you might do when you get ice cream at an ice cream shop. The salt that I used and will use for the most part today was a regular table salt, this kind of stuff, which costs, I don't know, if I was shopping at Walmart, I think it was less than 50 cents a package. In Publix, it's a little bit more. You can also buy this, which is supposed to work faster, which is literally marketed as ice cream salt. And what it is it's more like a chunky salt, kind of like a sea salt is chunky. But you can use any kind of salt that you have. But I would not go about it using your family's sea salt without asking, because that's a more expensive salt. You can also use kosher salt. Some people use kosher salt in cooking. But anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my bag of ingredients ready. So I'm going to use 8 ounces. Now, even though this bag will hold 2 cups, it's better if I don't have 2 cups of liquid because I wouldn't be able to close everything up in there. So 8 ounces of milk, actually. I'm going to pour a little bit of the milk back and supplement it with a little bit of cream to make my ice cream a little creamier. This is a whipping cream.
Wait,
You can
that's
buy cream. You can buy half and half. You can buy whipping cream, light cream, heavy cream. When you get up to heavy cream, that's telling you that the cream has more milk fat in it, which means, in my opinion, it's more delicious. But anyway, all right. So that's my milk. I'm going to put the recipe says a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Because this is going to be a very small amount of ice cream, I'm just going to do a couple of drops.
1.
That's enough.
That was 1 drop.
And let me get my sugar. Be right back. Now, when I made this yesterday, I'll give you the benefit of my experiment. I used 2 tablespoons of sugar. It tasted good, but you'll want more. So today what I'm going to do is do 3 tablespoons. They say between 2 to 4 tablespoons.
Of sugar.
And if you have measuring spoons in your house, usually it says on the spoon what size, what the measure is. And of course, if you're going to do something in your kitchen, get permission from the grown-up, because that will just keep you from having them disagree with what you're doing. And if you share your ice cream with them, guaranteed to be good outcome. So stir that up. Now, because I don't want this spill when I'm in the midst of filling up my bag, what I'm going to do is use this little plastic container. Use a little bowl as well so that it doesn't dump out. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is make sure there's not a lot of extra air in the bag. This is important because, believe me, you don't want salt to get in your ice cream. And there will be salt in the other bag. So I sealed it up. What you can also do, and a lot of people do seem to do this, just to make sure that the bag doesn't kind of pop open. You can tape it. You could tape it all the way along the top, or you could do the two corners like I just did. Okay, so that is the ingredients ready. Now the next part is the ice.
If anybody has questions, just raise your hand or something.
Tristan.
So, I think you were actually using some salt or what?
Yeah, I will be.
Okay, so I wonder what happens if there's salt on the other bag. If it
Well,
gets
if there was salt in the bag that the ice cream is being made in, you would have salty ice cream.
Oh,
and
okay.
I can guarantee you it doesn't taste very good.
Oh, I know that doesn't really taste very good because you might have made the ice cream wrong.
Right. Okay, I'm going to continue,
so it will be
Tristan,
a
and then once I get it all together and I start shaking it, then we can.
Again, this is only a test. Okay. And Miss Pickholtz, again, this is only a test.
All right. This is a gallon size Ziploc bag. Has to be bigger than the one we put the milk or the cream in because we have to be able to put it inside the bag with the ice.
Okay, so if you put ice in the ice cream, then I don't think that would be tasting very good at this point. So as you can see, Miss Pickholtz is actually using a teaspoon. Oh, is that a teaspoon?
Okay. I'm going to start with this much ice for the time being. Now
Miss Pickholtz?
Salt. Going to start
Miss Pickholtz
with a half cup of salt.
So he's using salt.
This is a regular kind of salt that most people just put in a regular salt shaker. Okay.
Miss Pickholtz?
That goes in there. Just mix it around a little bit. Now I take my bag of the cream or milk, whichever you're using, and I kind of bury that in the ice. I try not to turn it upside down. I try to bury it in the ice. Now I have to seal up the bag that has the ice in it and hope it won't leak. Ice and salt. Ick. And I can start baking. And now I'm going to get a kitchen towel because
Miss Pickholtz?
It's really cold.
Now, so Miss Pickholtz is going to be getting a new towels and
basically you're recommended to have a towel just because it gets so cold that it kind of hurts your hands.
Miss Pickholtz?
So somebody look at your watch or look at the clock. 9:32. So basically, I'm supposed to shake it for 10 minutes.
Okay, so
And if somebody has a question,
Yes, Dimitri had a question, so I'll read it. It is, hang on, Dimitri, I know I have it right here. His question was about ingredients, and I apologize. Hang on, I'll just unmute you, Dimitri. Oh, yeah, you said, is there other properties of ingredients to possibly make ice cream?
okay, well, your basic thing is that you're freezing a milk product, whether that is milk or cream. The difference between milk and cream is that cream has more fat. Fat is what gives us that mouthfeel of something being creamy. What happens when you skim milk or low-fat milk for this is you get ice crystals in the completed product that are just kind of a little less nice on your tongue. That kind of, it doesn't feel really smooth. Now, what I would love to have somebody do when you try this at home, particularly if you're from a family that does not drink dairy products, but maybe you use almond milk or cashew milk, which they sell in the store, and I know a lot of people drink them. I would love to see this tried with one of those products and see what the results are like. I think it would be kind of cool to do a comparison. So anyway, I'm
Ms. Pickholtz?
continuing with my...
Kristen, do you have a question?
oh yeah. So how does Miss Pickholtz get ice from the ice cream?
I got my ice out of my freezer.
Wait, what did you say?
I might have to...
Can you repeat that one more
I might have to
time?
send someone to the store to buy me a bag of ice, because when all my classes do this, I'm probably going to run out of ice.
So ice, because of the word ice, it replaces with ice cream. Ice
Yes, that's why we call it ice cream. Because
Oh.
the
And also,
what we're going to eat has been frozen.
oh, okay.
Say, how long has it been? Anyone able to tell me? Hold up your fingers for numbers of minutes.
Go ahead, Zach.
Now, 6 or 5? Okay. All right. I'm going to check it.
Now, Miss Pickholtz is checking for something.
I would say it's not done yet, but you see, it's not really liquid anymore. It's definitely starting to freeze. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it back in the ice, and I'm going to put a little more salt in the ice. Whoa, that's cold in there. I'm also going to take the temperature. So we can...
I have a question, Miss Pickholtz.
Man, that's cold. All right, where is my thermometer? Right here. This is an electronic thermometer. It only goes down to about 10 degrees. I'm going to turn it on. And it's telling me right now that 75 degrees Fahrenheit in here. I'm going to stick this, which is the probe, into where I have the ice and salt.
Ryan, you had a question.
Can you see this?
How do you get the creamy texture?
You get the creamy texture from a couple of ways.
Miss
It
Pickholtz?
partially has to do with how much fat was in the milk product that you put into it. Let me see what we... Okay, I'm down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit on this. That's how cold it is in there. So ice, which is normally, when frozen, well, we know that the normal freezing point of water is 32 degrees. This ice was kept in a freezer that it is probably at 30 degrees, maybe a little bit lower, but certainly not at 10 degrees. The reaction of the salt with the ice, with the water and the ice, starts to melt the ice, and basically it has decreased. It has made the freezing point of water lower, higher, lower. Okay. Taking that out. Need to do this a bit more. So I would like to get done so you guys can at least see it. Now, do any of you live in a house where you drink almond milk or something like that? No. If you do, I would love for you to try this with almond milk, or even try it both ways. So you can tell us what it was like.
Christian, do you drink almond milk?
I do drink almond milk. Yes, ma'am.
So maybe you can try Miss Pickholtz'
Okay.
Yep.
Miss Pickholtz?
What about you,
One
Dimitri?
thing about almond milk is you can
I
buy
drink
it either
almond milk and
unsweetened
cashew
or
milk.
sweetened.
Awesome.
So some of it they put sugar in, and if you use the almond milk that has sugar added, you might taste it before you even did this, and you might decide that I don't need to put much sugar in the ice cream mix. Oh, it's definitely feeling harder now to me.
Miss Pickholtz, as a time check, we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, I think we will make it. Harder, but not super hard, but anyway.
Now, so Miss Pickholtz is about to get enough time to get to the finishing of making
Okay, guys.
the ice cream.
Now this is important. When you take this out, you do not. Now the outside of the little bag, the bag that's got the milk or cream or whatever you used in it, is going to have salt on it from the salt and water mixture. You do not want to get salt inside the bag where your ice cream is. So what I'm doing before I open this bag is I'm using my towel